The Eighth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects citizens from cruel and unusual punishment. Yet under federal law, persons convicted of certain crimes may still be put to death. The Constitution also allows for states to determine for themselves if they will use the death penalty in their judicial process. Capital punishment varies from state to state for those jurisdictions that allow for it. Why and how was the electric chair developed for execution? Why was it not universally implemented? Is it still used in the country?
Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, a veteran of the United States Army and Marine Corps, former history professor, book author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
Throughout the nation's history, hanging was the primary method of carrying out the death penalty, despite being considered too slow and painful a method of execution. In 1886, New York State established a legislative commission to study alternate forms of capital punishment. But in 1881, Alfred Southwick, a Quaker, conceived the idea of death by electrical execution when he heard the story of an intoxicated man who touched a live electric generator. Given that the man died so quickly, Southwick believed that electrocution was more humane. During the 1880s, there was rivalry between two giants of electrical service. The Edison General Electric Company, founded by Thomas Edison, established themselves with direct current or DC service. George Westinghouse, using Edison's former employee Nikola Tesla's design, developed AC service or alternating current and started the Westinghouse Corporation. During this time, Edison hired inventor Harold Brown. Brown had sent a letter to the New York Post describing how a young boy died after touching an exposed telegraph wire running on AC current. Edison saw his chance. Brown and his assistant, Dr. Fred Peterson, began designing an electric chair for Edison. In 1887, Edison feared losing his DC business to the AC method and began a smear campaign against AC current and Westinghouse. To demonstrate, he performed a public demonstration in West Orange, New Jersey. To prove his point, supporting up a 1,000-volt Westinghouse AC generator connected to an iron plate, he killed around a dozen animals by placing the poor creatures on the electrified metal plate. The press went into a frenzy describing the horrific event, and the new term electrocution was used to describe death by electricity. Then they performed the same experiment with DC voltage to show that it left the animals stunned but not dead, trying to show how AC killed swiftly and was in theory more dangerous, too dangerous for homes and businesses. One of the animals killed using AC current was a circus elephant. On June 4, 1888, the New York legislature passed a law establishing electrocution as the official method of execution, but the committee needed to decide to choose between DC or AC current. Edison actively campaigned for the selection of the Westinghouse AC chair, hoping that consumers would not want AC electrical power their homes that was used for execution, despite it being more efficient. Since Dr. Peterson was the head of the government committee selecting the best electric chair design while still working for the Edison Company, his influence saw surprising results, and the committee chose the electric chair with AC voltage to be used in the statewide prison system. As a result, on January 1, 1889, the world's first law went into full effect authorizing electrocution. But Westinghouse was appalled by the decision, as he believed that electrocution was cruel and unusual punishment, and he refused to take the contract. In fact, Westinghouse personally paid for the appeals filed for the first prisoners sentenced to death by electrocution. Both Edison and Brown testified for the execution by AC power, stating it was a quick and painless form of death, and the state of New York won the appeals. Edison decided to provide the AC generators, and he took the contract. As a result, for many years afterward, death by electrocution in the chair was being called Westinghoused. Thomas Edison preferred using the terms dynamort, amperemort, and electromort. William Kemmler was the first person to be electrocuted on August 6, 1890, in the basement of Auburn Prison, where the electric chair was set up. There were 25 witnesses, 14 of whom were doctors, to evaluate the electrocution. They also presided over the electrocution of a horse testing the chair the day before and decided that it was effective. Kemmler survived the first attempt, so he was lit up again. The entire process took 8 minutes. The New York Times reported that an awful odor began to permeate the death chamber, and then, as though to cap the climax of this fearful sight, it was seen that the hair under and around the electrode on the head and the flesh under and around the electrode at the base of the spine was singeing. The stench was unbearable. Later, the New York Times ran the headline, "Far worse than hanging," and Westinghouse said they would have done better using an axe. In 1903, Edison created a 74-second film of the execution of Topsy, a circus elephant condemned to death for killing her abusive handler. Despite Tesla and Westinghouse having already won the current wars, he maintained his campaign against AC power. Ironically, later in life, Edison admitted that AC was far more efficient. The electric chair was ultimately adopted by 26 states, the District of Columbia, the federal government, and the U.S. military. Some states adopted the gas chamber, and a few used firing squads, such as Utah. The electric chair was the most common form of execution until the mid-1980s, when lethal injection was introduced.
Thank you for watching Forgotten History. Please click like, subscribe, and share. Send us comments and show ideas, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time.